G'day, hi and welcome. My drum kit. Almost 1 year later. Do I regret buying it? Would I buy the same thing again 1 year ago, knowing what I know now, 1 year later? Plot thickens. Let's find out. But first, some of you guys have been giving me some nice, encouraging comments. The rest of you just say I suck. But yeah, of course, I would approve. Well, I'd hope I would improve after a year of playing for sure. Let's see, what am I going to do? I grab my light little stickies. I'm becoming more of a fan of the light sticks over the heavy sticks, but yeah, see if I gotta get some fancy stuff. This month is the month I pay off my drum kit. So one of the upgrades is going to be a clutch on that sucker. Yeah. I haven't been able to practice for a couple of days here because I've been busy with work and all that. Okay, so I got a critique last night. I went and checked out the guy's channel. I can't remember the name of the channel, but if you're watching again, yeah, I hear what you're saying about a boot. I'm Canadian, so we got to say it right. It's a boot. What's this about thing? A boot. Enunciate. A boot. Okay, so anyway, yeah, you're right. The 22-inch bass drum, knowing what I know now, my next drum kit is going to be a 20-inch bass drum. Probably, if I stick with Mapex, it'll be a 20 by 16 or whatever. The 22 is a nice bass drum because of the fun. It's the ultimate. It's El Cañón, right? So, like, I mean, yes, I know the bigger bass drums like the 24s and the 30s, they got a lot more low end, but they don't have the attack of the 22. The 22 doesn't have the low end, or the 20 doesn't have the low end of the 22, but the attack is similar. So the 22 is kind of like, for rock and metal, is that it's like the almost perfect drum size. For sound, for playability, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I have no issue there. But there is one issue with a 22-inch bass drum. Is if you want toms bigger than this, above it, right? Which you can see, that tom is almost in the perfect spot. It's a 10 by 8, right? Which any tom thicker than 8 inches, you're not going to get over a 22-inch bass drum. That's why I want to go to the 20-inch, which will bring me down, theoretically, down to there, which means I can drop that. And I'm going to go with shallow toms on the next one. For over the drums, but I'm also thinking, like, I have a couple of options here, but I'll save it for the next videos. I want a double bass drum setup. Why? Because I'm me. The easiest thing is just buy another one of these kits and just go symmetrical. But I do want different drums. You know what I mean? So I love, mind you, just look at how gorgeous this thing is. But this is the nicest setup I can get ergonomically. That allows me to drop my shoulders. It's a lot less effort to play it like this, nice and flat and low. This is the drum that becomes the harder to play, but it's not your main. I'm going to hit the 12-inch tom more than the 10. Just everybody tends to like that one more, right? The sound of it. But what I will say is, yes, you are 100% right on the snare. Now, this is a Tama snare. It's a 14.5 by 6.5. It's a huge snare. The biggest problem is everything's over here. So my next snare, yes, which I've probably picked out already, theoretically, is probably going to be the Goblin by Mapex, which is a 12-inch. So I'm looking at bringing things in closer by that much. And my hi-hats, I might go down. I'd like to get 12-inch hi-hats, which would bring me down. These are 14s, I believe. These are 14s. I don't have my glasses, so I can't. Yeah, 14-inch. 14 inches, I can live with, like, I'm not going to upgrade the hi-hats. I'm going to upgrade the hi-hats down before the hi-hats. But if I brought them down to a 12, I would save that much space, so it wouldn't have this overlap. But you lose out a bit, too. I don't mind, like, a smaller kit, and I'll agree with what the guy was saying, that a smaller kit is more ergonomic. Like, this is the standard kit for most people. This is a standard rock kit, which is really meant for somebody 6'2", in a sense, just because of the reach. But my reach is not bad with this ergonomics. Again, this is about as ergonomic as you can get a 22-inch bass drum. So shoulders down, and there's the center. Shoulders still down. So I got to reach back a bit here, but that's the compromise, right? I'd love to have that there, but this is up here that much higher. And then you got to go, and it's just too much. It's nice when you can just flick to, like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, look, like, I don't have to go all the way up here and down, because when you're here, you tend to want to lift your shoulders, which means shoulder injuries later on, neck injuries later on. So shoulders low, shoulders relaxed, and I'm just basically no stress on the shoulders whatsoever. So I do know how to, being a well, there's the arc of the stick right there. That's pretty darn good. As far as the padding on the chair, I'm never getting rid of this. This, guys, look, I sit back when I play, which helps me out with the double bass a lot too, because I'm not hunched over like a gargoyle. I got back lumbar support. Like, that was a good call. Not the most expensive seat, but man, it was a great seat to, I don't know, I can understand how a 20-year-old guy can sit on, you know, a seat like that round with barely any padding on it for hours on end. I can't do it, I'm 51. But I can guarantee you, if you're doing that when you're in your 20s, sitting on that little seat, you're going to start to slouch. Keeping your back up and straight, you know, it takes muscles that you don't normally use when you're sitting, so you tend to want to slouch, and that's back injuries right there, right? So this, I'm sitting back, which is, you know, if anything, it's correcting posture, you know. So, and I do have to upgrade my springs. That's one thing I do have to do, but in general, no, I'm happy with what I got here. But yeah, my next drum kit, whenever that comes around, I've got lots of other things I got to get first. I got to get new guitar amps, bass is over there, new acoustics, upgrade my recording equipment. I got to get new cameras before I even do any of that. I have to pay this off before I even do any of that. So there's all these things I have to do before I upgrade. But my future drum kit is probably going to be a double bass kit with shallow toms and two 20-inch bass drums. I've done enough research on it that I could say honestly, like, the 20 inches bass drums are going to be fine. You know, even for metal, they're going to be fine. The reason why I want 2 bass drums is a single pedal versus a double pedal versus 2 single bass drums. You get more clarity out of the 2 bass drums. Once you hit a certain speed with the double pedal, it's kind of like the drum can't quite respond as fast, and it gets a little bit muddier. Not by much, but I mean, a lot of guys are fine with a double pedal, but I also, you know, the aesthetic of a double bass pedal, a double bass setup. But that comes with its problems too. I mean, 2 22-inch cannons like this would look great, one there and one there, but you know, I don't want my drums this high. And when I have this here, it's about that high, which is too high. Because when you're coming there to the, when you're trying to go, like this is a lot easier to go from that height, which is only a couple of inches. And if I could even lower it, like if I had the 20-inch bass drum, I could even lower that another 2 inches. And when I have the smaller snare, I can bring it in, which means really smooth transitions from top. Because I find when you have everything up here, it's like you're not smooth. You're like, and there's like a hint of a pause in your down here, even if you have it here. But when it's like, you know, it's that smooth transition that'll make you sound like a better player. What am I doing for time here? Okay, so I'll wrap it up on that one. So that's kind of like part 1 of. No, I don't regret the drum kit, but yeah, I would make a different choice for starting out.